As a coach, therapist, and consultant, I've met several people from diverse spheres of life lament to me regarding a major concern in their life. And oftentimes it's about, why is it that despite the best of my intention, the effort I put in, I still attract or get the opposite of my intention? In fact, I've met female executives lament to me regarding why they are attracting the bad guys, despite the fact that they pray regularly for the best of guys as husband. I've met mentees who are just starting business or who are scouting for a job lament to me, why is it that despite the best of my effort, it's as if it's the opposite of my effort or intentions I'm getting? In fact, don't you also observe that despite the fact that we have a lot of foreigners coming to Nigeria, a lot of Nigerians still believe that there are no opportunities, economic opportunities in Nigeria? Something is wrong somewhere. This is your Habits Doctor podcast with Dr. Osaz, and this is the fourth episode, episode 4, and I've titled this episode Self-Sabotaging Self-Talks. Self-Sabotaging Self-Talks. And don't forget to like this page. Please do subscribe to this page also, so that you can get the regular notifications. Also, put your comment down there. You will be assured to get a response from me. And also try as much as possible to share this page or this video across your various social media platforms, including your WhatsApp. Okay, once again, this is your Habit Doctor podcast, and I'm Dr. Osaz. Truth be told, once you begin to observe or notice some unwanted recurring patterns in your life, in your work, in your finance, your relationship, even your health, or what have you, despite the best of your intentions or your effort or your dreams, then something is definitely wrong somewhere. But you know what? Oftentimes we start shifting blame. And in this part of the world, we quickly shift blame on the devil, shift blame on enemies, on stepmothers, or in this part of the world also we call it the village people and what have you. Have you ever paused to think, could I be the one responsible for my own issue? Is it possible that I'm actually the demon or the village people standing in the way of my progress? And yes, this is a big possibility with what we call self-sabotage. You see, self-sabotage is that state or act whereby you undermine your success or progress in life or in any sphere of your life, despite the best of your intention, dreams, values, or goals or desires. And a lot of time, based on a lot of psychological research, it's been proven that this is a coping mechanism or a form of self-preservation to cope or deal with crushed or low self-esteem in our lives, or sometimes negative self-talks that are traceable to traumas in our life, or sometimes unhealed childhood wounds in our life. Now, for today's episode, I will be dealing with self-talks that are self-sabotaging for us. Self-talks are essentially internal conversations in our head. These are inner dialogues in our head. And I always say to people, whatever people say to you is not as important as what you say to yourself. These are words in your head. Oftentimes you are not saying out. Sometimes you may voice them out, not necessarily to anybody, but these are internal conversations in your head. You are having a dialogue with yourself. And with these self-talks or internal dialogues, we are programming your behavior such that you may wish for A, but because of the way you are programming yourself, through the way you are talking to yourself, you are getting B, the opposite of what you actually wish. I will give 3 examples to drive this discussion. And the first example of self-sabotaging self-talk that I want to call your attention to is what I call the double negation. Double negation, a situation whereby with the internal conversations in your head, your self-talks, you are trying to negate a negative that happened to you. Or in other words, you are trying to run away from or escape a negative past or a negative thing that happened to you, and thus is reflecting in the way you talk to yourself, and thus programming you. A classical example that is quite common in our society. You hear some ladies say, I do not want to marry a bad guy. I do not want to marry a cheating husband. I do not want to marry a violent or aggressive husband. My sister, you are doing it the wrong way. Most likely, you will notice in your life, if you are not deceiving yourself, you'll be attracting the bad guys. This is what you have been doing. So with your conscious mind, you are praying, you are wishing, you are talking to yourself, I do not want to marry a bad guy. But what you have failed to realize is this. Your subconscious mind has its own different terms and conditions, rules that it obeys. So your conscious mind, you can say, I do not want to marry a bad guy. But your subconscious mind cannot accept or process that. Why? Because you are trying to negate a negative. I do not is negative, want to marry a bad guy or aggressive guy or violent guy. Violent or aggressive or bad is negative. So you are trying to counter or attack a negative. The subconscious mind of human beings is not actually designed by God to negate a negative. It is not designed to hold two negatives at the same time or process two negatives or accept two negatives. In fact, if you like to sound religious about this, the mind of your spirit, which is your subconscious mind, does not inhabit a place of fear, an atmosphere of fear. When you are negating a negative, it's signaling fear to your subconscious mind. Alright, so I do not want to marry a bad guy. Cannot be accepted by your subconscious mind. However, if you now activate another law, which is the law of repetition, by repeatedly praying or wishing in your head, I do not want to marry a bad guy, you will be forcing your subconscious mind to accept it. But we only accept it on its own term. So how does it do that? It will also delete the first negative and leave you with the second negative. So that even though you're saying with your conscious mind, I do not want to marry a bad guy, your subconscious mind will register, will accept and register, I do want to marry a bad guy, because if they auto deletes the first negative and leave you with the second negative. So you will observe that even though you are praying, I do not want to marry a bad guy, but what you are attracting is the bad guy. Why? Because even though with your conscious mind you are saying, I do not want to marry a bad guy, but in your subconscious mind, the energy your subconscious mind is releasing to the universe, which universe is giving back to you is, I do want to marry a bad guy, because the note has been auto deleted. So same thing for people that are saying, I do not want to be broke, I do not want to fail this exam. A lot of times the truth is this: when we experience a negative thing like failure, like a disappointment, like a betrayal, we become so scared of it that we become fixated on it, and everything in our head, our self-talks, our internal conversations are all about escaping that pain, running away from that pain, including the way we talk to ourselves. No, you got to re-language the way you talk to yourself. You got to break free from that habit, or else you keep attracting the same thing you are running away from. So instead of saying, I do not want to marry a bad guy, pray exactly what you want. I do want to marry a very kind guy. I do not want to be broke. Pray exactly what you want. I do want to attract wealth opportunities, wealth creation opportunities. Say what you want. Behave like your creator, your God. For those of us that are Christians, in Genesis 1, verses 2 to 3, even though darkness is what God saw, covering the whole earth. Well, he didn't say, I do not want to see this darkness again. He didn't say, there should be no darkness. What did he say? Light be. The secret is this: when you declare exactly what you want repeatedly, it starts programming you to focus on that thing that you want. And when your focus is in that thing that you want, it releases some energy in you that captivates or captures your emotions and thus start driving your behavior or your desired result. But when you are trying to negate a negative, you will be focusing on that negative. And the energy of that negative will find expression in your feelings and your behavior, and thus your result. Watch out for the next episode. I will be going deeper on other forms of self-sabotaging self-talks. I will perhaps touch 2 or 3 more self-sabotaging self-talks that we are using to undermine our success or progress in our relationships, our life, our work, our finances, our health, despite the best of our wishes, our dreams, our intentions. Stay tuned to your Habits Doctor podcast, and I remain Dr. Osas. Remember, you are unstoppable.